إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة عبده وابن عبده وابن أمته ومن لا غنى به طرفة عين عن رحمته. وأصلي وأسلم على خير هاد مبعوث رحمة للعالمين محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، الذي دعا إلى التوبة وبين طريقها ودل الأمة إلى اتباع طريق الاستقامة، فإن تبعت طريقه فلن تضل أبدا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، شر الأمور محدثاتها، كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. والنفس تعرف في عيني محدثها إن كان من أهلها أو من أعاديها. عيناك قد دلتا عيني على أشياء منهما ما كنت أدريها. أشهد الله سبحانه وتعالى على حبكم في الله. I make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala witness that I love all of you for the sake of Allah. And I can see the love that you feel, and you're not telling me, but I can see it in your eyes. And I hope you see it in my eyes as well. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى in these ayat collected from the book of Allah, and you will see that too many ayat in the book of Allah talking about the same behavior. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى والذين يمكرون السيئات لهم عذاب شديد، ويقول ويمكر الله والله خير الماكرين. وقال سبحانه وقد مكروا مكرهم وعند الله مكرهم وإن كان مكرهم لتزول منه الجبال. وقال ومكروا مكرا ومكرنا مكرا وهم لا يشعرون فانظر كيف كان عاقبة مكرهم أنا دمرناهم وقومهم أجمعين. وقال قد مكر الذين من قبلهم فأتى الله بنيانهم من القواعد فخر عليهم السقف من فوقهم وأتاهم العذاب من حيث لا يشعرون. وقال وإذا أذقنا الناس رحمة من بعد ضراء مستهم إذا لهم مكر في آياتنا قل الله أسرع مكرا إن رسلنا يكتبون ما تمكرون. وقال وما يمكرون إلا بأنفسهم وما يشعرون. وقال ومكروا مكرا ومكرنا مكرا وهم لا يشعرون. وقال أفأمن الذين مكروا السيئات أن يخسف الله بهم الأرض أو يأتيهم العذاب من حيث لا يشعرون أو يأخذهم في تقلبهم فما هم بمعجزين أو يأخذهم على تخوف فإن ربكم لرؤوف رحيم. وقال سيصيب الذين أجرموا صغار عند الله وعذاب شديد بما كانوا يمكرون. وقال استكبارا في الأرض ومكر السيء ولا يحيق المكر السيء إلا بأهله. وقال ومكر أولئك هو يبور. وقال وقد مكر الذين من قبلهم فلله المكر جميعا يعلم ما تكسب كل نفس. وقال أفأمنوا مكر الله فلا يأمن مكر الله إلا القوم الخاسرون. You see all these ayat from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talking about one concept. And this concept is the concept of al-makr. Makr. And that is to plot, or to plan, or to outsmart, or to fool. Whatever you want to call it. And whatever technique and skills you think you got. You will find some people living their life based on this principle. So you find him fooling his boss, and you find him fooling his wife, and you find him fooling his brother, and wherever he is and in whatever situation he is, his principle is how I can outsmart him, and how I can fool him, and how I can plot against him to get the best out of him for myself and only myself. But all that is one thing. To think that you can outsmart someone, or to think that you can fool someone, or to think that you can trick someone, that is one thing. Because this someone can fall for you or cannot. He may and he may not. He might be smarter than you and understand your plot. And he might be naive and over-trusting and fall for your trap. That is one thing, because he does not know what's in your heart. And he's not expected to know. He does not know what's on your mind. And he has no skills to know. And he has no tools to do. And he has no gauger to measure your facial expressions and your tones and your blinks and your twitch to decide and know that this is art. To be able to tell the person by his face expression. And this is science that you can learn. And people have their own expressions in different situations and in different scenarios. But most people don't have that ability. And that is one thing, as I have said already. Because you are expected to trust the people. You don't expect that someone will fool you to that extreme. But then on the other side, when you think, or when the person thinks that he can outsmart Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and outsmart for the lack of terms, when he thinks that he can fool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he thinks he can play games with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is for the lack of terms, when he thinks he can plot against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is a different story. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows exactly what's in his heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala muttali'un ala ma fi qalb. And Allah knows exactly what's in his mind. Allah knows what will be on his mind. And what if it was not to be, what it would have been. Allah knows. Allah knows. So someone who thinks that way is a fool. Someone who thinks he can fool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is someone without mind. Someone who lost the intelligence. Someone who has no heart. Because at the end, Allah knows مَا تُبْدُونَ وَمَا تَكْتُمُونَ. Allah knows what you show and what you conceal. So it's very important to understand this fact. And all these ayat I have recited upon your ears, and all these ayat from the book of Allah, talks about this idea, and talks about the idea of thinking people can, thinking they can outsmart Allah, and they think they can fool Allah, and they think they can play games around the laws of Allah, and they try to convince themselves that they are on the straight path. And Allah has exposed them in this ayah. So sometimes He talks about their punishment, and sometimes He talks about what they plot, And sometimes he talks about their plotting compared to his. And the plot of Allah is in al-haq, in the truth. And sometimes he talks about how their plotting is Allah's and does not lead to anything. And if it would lead to their harm and to their destruction. So very important to understand that. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المكر والخيانة والخديعة في النار. المكر, this principle that we are talking about, this idea that we're talking about and we're speaking about tonight, المكر, the plotting and the thinking and the deception of thinking that you can outsmart. والخيانة, and the betrayal. والخديعة, the tricking and the fooling. And all these things end up with the same idea. Thinking you can fool the opponent or the person against you. The Prophet ﷺ said all these things in the hellfire. All these things in the hellfire. ويقول ابن الجوزي. Now how is this related to us? يقول ابن الجوزي رحمه الله in a very profound state, and pay attention يا عبد الله, pay attention. If you claim to be on the path of Allah, pay attention. If you are concerned to be على الصراط المستقيم, because perhaps this statement applies to each one of us and we don't know and we don't think about it. Perhaps all of us are falling in the idea of al-makr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we think we are the best of the creation. يقول ابن الجوزي رحمه الله in a profound state: تصر على المعاصي وتصانع بعض المعروف أو بعض الطاعات والله إن هذا لمكر. I repeat: تصر على فعل المعاصي وتصانع ببعض الطاعات والله إن هذا لمكر. He said you continue to disobey وتصانع ببعض الطاعات, but along the way you do some of that obedience. He said, Wallahi, by Allah, this is makr. So the person disobeys and challenges Allah with the haram, and the orders of Allah are in front of him clear, and he decides to go around and to cut corners and to create his own scenarios, thinking the fool, thinking he can get away with it with Allah, and he knows his life is wrong, but because he does some ta'ah here and some ibadah here and some salah here and some zakah here, he thinks he can get away. So he said, this is the makr. This is the makr. And who's amongst us is not doing this? Who's amongst us cutting corners and playing games around the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And he convinces himself, or she convinces herself, that I'm not doing something how? It doesn't matter if we have the Quran and the Sunnah, and it doesn't matter if we have the biggest of the ulama and the dua. It does not matter if we have the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam amongst us. This behavior mainly has to do with the heart. If your heart is not present and your heart is not watching over you, and your heart is not guiding you, and your heart is not holding you from such behavior, you are in deep makr, and you are committing this crime against yourself. Because the person, when he does something like that, when he disobeys and disobeys and disobeys, or he plays with the rule, and he plays with the ahkam, and he plays with the ayat, and he plays with the hadith, and he puts them out of their context so he can get around for self-interest, and he thinks he can get away with Allah. He doesn't know that Allah knows what his intentions, and he doesn't know that Allah knows what's in his heart, and he doesn't know, or he doesn't think that Allah knows what he's planning, and he doesn't know that the plots of Allah is way bigger than his own minute, poor, little, promiscuous, little plot. In other words, he's underestimating the power of Allah. And that is dangerous. To underestimate the power of Allah. To think that you can get away. To think that Allah will not know. That is the biggest of the crimes. And if you look at Bani Israel, they killed the prophets, and they asked to see Allah, and they worship Al-Ijl. But Allah did not turn them into apes and pigs. But when they committed makr with Allah, Allah did turn them into apes and pigs. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واسألهم عن القرية التي كانت حاضرة البحر إذ يعدون في السبت إذ تأتيهم حيتانهم يوم سبتهم شرعا ويوم لا يسبتون لا تأتيهم. Allah says to the Prophet ﷺ, كذلك نبلوهم بما كانوا يفسقون. Allah says to the Prophet ﷺ, as the Jews, and the Jews are the top of the line with the idea of al-makr. Allah tells the Prophet ﷺ, as the Jews in Medina, ask them about the village that had the water view, the ocean view, the village that was located on the water. Ask them about it. When those people asked Allah, when Bani Israel asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a day where they can be free just to worship Allah, not to work, not to do anything other than to worship their Lord. And this is a way for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify the hearts and purify the wills. Because you all know Bani Israel were enslaved under Fir'aun. So now they're out, but they still have the residuals of being slaves and having no will and having no power and no irada. So Allah wants to train them back, because this is the way it is. You have to be tested, and you have to be put in tribulation and in tests before you are ready to lead in this earth, before you are given the Khilafah in this earth, you have to be tested so you can be prepared. Because holding and carrying the flag of the message of Allah is not easy. So if you're not ready, you've got to be ready. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted Bani Israel to be ready. And when they asked for the day that they can review and they can re-evaluate and they can recharge themselves and they can regain their will, He gave them the Sabbath. Sabbath, where they were not allowed to work. But there is a test. There is a test. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ask them about the people of the village on the water, next to the water, who transgressed on the Sabbath. And their story was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Saturday will send all the fish. You all know the story. Where they cannot hunt, they cannot fish, they cannot catch. Test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they don't understand that the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being on the straight path is what brings the rizq. وَأَن لَوْ اسْتَقَامُوا عَلَى الطَّرِيقَةِ لَأَسْقَيْنَاهُمْ مَاءً غَدَقًا. And if they were to straighten their way on the path, we would have provided to them, or we would have provided to them abundantly. But they could not be patient. So when they were tempted, and when some amongst those who their will was weak, they gave in. And they set their nets, and they set their traps on Friday. It's one-way exit or one-way entrance. It's one-way road. The fish comes in, cannot get out. Friday, not Saturday. And they'll stand on Saturday. And watch. You don't want us to do anything Saturday. We are not doing anything Saturday. And on Sunday, Yawm al-Hasad. On Sunday, let's go fish. We love fishing. We didn't know Allah. We did not do anything wrong. We did not trick or fool the system. We did not cut corners with the law. You don't want us to work Saturday? Then we don't work Saturday. But what we do Friday and what we do Sunday, don't ask us why we do. We can do whatever. You did not tell us we cannot do. Set the nets and the traps on Friday. And you did not tell us we cannot go get the fish on Sunday. We didn't do anything wrong. Saturday, we did not do anything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns them into aches and pains. Even though the crime of killing the prophets of Allah and the crime of asking to see Allah and the crime of worshipping, and that's shirk, the cow or the cow, bigger than catching the fish. But the punishment was more severe because the idea, because the intent, and that is the makr. Because they thought. Imagine their situation. They're standing on Saturday. As I said, their hands in their pockets or behind their back. Underestimating the knowledge of Allah. يستخفون بالله. They take Allah lightly. As if they think that Allah doesn't know what they're doing. Makr, khidaa', and khiyanah lil-amanah. So they deserve that punishment. question I was asked maybe a week or two ago. And a brother approached me. He said, I called you to ask you a question. I said, I didn't get the call. He said, someone asked me if he can wear clothes, pants that he bought from haram money. I said, how he got the haram money? He said, because he has grocery and he didn't have halal money in his pocket at that time, so he bought it with haram money. I said, and how he knows what's halal and what's haram money? He said, because he has 2 registers in his store. Yeah. One register is whatever he sells halal, he puts it in. Whatever haram he sells, he puts it in the second register. So yeah. He said, so whatever in the first register, that's what he used to buy his grains and feed his family. But what's in the haram or the bills? Say, mashallah. Allah. So, and how he thought about this magnificent idea. He said, because he read the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, الرجل أشعث أغبر يطيل السفر يرفع يديه إلى السماء يقول يا رب يا رب ومأكله حرام ومشربه حرام وملبسه حرام وغذي بالحرام فأنى يستجاب له. The hadith. Prophet ﷺ talks about the person who eats haram. رجل أشعث أغبر. أشعث يعني his hair is going every direction. يعني ما the person is not in a very beautiful look. Humility. And that is one of the principles for dua to be answered. When you make dua, you make it with humility, in need. You are talking to the Lord. You better be humiliated, and you better bring yourself down. And you better break yourself when you are about to ask for it. أشعث أغبر يرفع يديه إلى السماء, hands to the heaven. And that's another reason for the dua to be asked, to raise the hand. When the Prophet ﷺ raised the hand, and not every dua when you raise the hands. For example, the dua, you don't raise the hand because the Prophet never, and he did not raise the hand the dua in al-Fariq, after al-Fariq. He never did it in Jama'ah and in groups. But if it happens, once you have go for it. It happens that after every summer, after Dhuhr, after Asr, after Maghrib, after Isha, يعني ما شاء الله we open it. A lot of us have neglected. Make it a habit, it's not from the Sunnah. the best of the guidance. But raising the dua in general is good. Raising the hands is good. So this establish the humility and inkisar al-qalb, and raising the hands. يطيل السفر, linger his traveling, يعني he's always on the road. And you know the dua during the safar is answered. The dua during traveling is answered. So when your brother is leaving or traveling, ask him to make dua. يرفع يديه إلى السماء يقول يا رب يا رب. He say يا رب يا رب. He wants to ask. But then the Prophet ﷺ now talks about what will make his dua. يعني he fulfilled all the requirements for dua to be answered. From humility, from raising the hand, from being in a very weak and suffering situation. Because السفر قطعة من العذاب. Traveling is a piece of suffering. And when the person is suffering, he's weak. And his dua and his heart is more tranquil and more connected. And say, Ya Rab, Ya Rab. That means he's only asking Allah. He's not committing shirk and asking Maulana or a dead person or the wali or whatever. His food is haram. His drink is haram. His clothes is haram. And nourished by the haram. So the Prophet ﷺ said, how can someone like that give message? So our friend here, our brother, looks at the hadith and he says, so the food is haram, so that goes registered. The clothes is haram, registered to. The clothes is haram, registered to. If he can wear his pants. Because it says, and his clothes from haram. The poor person thinks that the haram is only limited to 3 things. And he's wrong. Such a person thinks he can. This is makr. This is thinking I can get away. How many of us do this stuff in their life? Convince themselves, it's okay. This way it's okay. This way it's not. Some changes here, some preparation here, we're fine. Makr with Allah. Allah knows what's in your heart. So we as the Muslims need to stop thinking this way. Because the end of it is destruction. We need to stop thinking, and the reason that people end up doing that, because ما قدر الله حق قدر. Going back to the Jews, when Allah asked the Prophet ﷺ to ask the people to give sadaqah, the Jews said, يد الله مغلولة غلت أيديهم. The Jews said, Allah is cheap. Why is He asking the people to give? Why He doesn't give? They underestimated the status of Allah. That's why. That's why when the person tries to play around the rules and the ahkam, it doesn't matter if he has someone over his head telling him this is haram, and this is halal, and this is makruh, and this is mandub, and this is mubah, and this is this, and this is that. It doesn't matter. If the heart is not present, he will do whatever it takes. So the bottom line, it's the heart. ألا إن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله. وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي قلب. There's a piece of flesh in the body. It's good, the whole thing is good. That is Malikul A'dha. This heart you have is the king of your body, is the thing that controls you and make your decision. الحلال بين والحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات. Halal is clear and haram is clear. Between them there is the gray area. You want to be safe for your deed, you avoid the gray area. Because if you decide to hang around in that area, the next slip you end up in the haram. But as long as you're in the halal, if you slip, you go in the middle. مشتبهات. You're in the halal, you have a zone. You were to mess up while you're in the halal, you'll fall in the mushtabahat. And get yourself mushtabahat. It's unclear. I didn't know. I did not understand. But if you're hanging in that gray area, that buffer, so much, once you slip and once you fall, you're right in the haram. Don't tell me you did not know zina is haram. Don't tell me you did not know riba was haram. You're in the haram. That's why if you look at the awliya of Allah, you look at the Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, learning from their teacher. You look at the Tabi'een, Tabi'een, and the best three generations, and you look at the greatest individuals in this ummah, you find that was their depth, and that was their attitude. That if I'm going to be so much indulged in the mubah, mubah is okay. Mubah, you do it, no harm. You don't do it, no harm. But too much of it is a problem. And that is from the plan of the shaitan. You see, when the shaitan fails with you to get you down, and the shaitan has levels, works at different levels. Not everyone, the shaitan doesn't only have one way for each person. He has many ways and a variety of skills, because each individual has his own level. So when he fails, and then fails, and then fails getting you into shirk, then he fails getting you into bid'ah, then he fails getting you into a major sin, then he fails getting you into a minor sin. He says this guy knows what's haram and what's halal, so there is no way to work with him. So he gets you so indulged in the mubah. He gets you so heavy, addicted to the mubah, and convinces you there is no harm. Eat as much as you want, no harm. Drink as much as you want. Drink water and soda. There's no harm. But then he gets you, because once you are so much into the mubah, you become so weak to fulfill the obligations. So lazy, so heavy, so busy. Getting you so much into playing, getting you so much into hanging out and chatting and talking and spending time and having fun. And he's convincing you it's all mubah. He's getting you too much in work. And he tells you, shughul ibadah. Al-amal ibadah. You're worshipping Allah by working. So he gets you so much addicted to that you start turning to deviate from your obligations. So this person, because he's so busy with work, he doesn't pray anymore. He doesn't have time for that. He's so busy with work. If he prays, he might bring all of them together in one shot at the end of the day. And when you tell him, brother, what are you doing? He said, brother, work is ibadah. Work is ibadah with the right intention. Work is ibadah when it does not take you away from your obligation. If someone has a store, and what he sells in that store, masahif. Masahif, the plural of mushaf. You know what mushaf is? Quran. He says the word of Allah. He's sitting in there. Work is ibadah. طيب, alhamdulillah. يد العليا خير من اليد السفلى. Prophet said that the upper hand is better than the lower hand. So he's working. He wants to suffice himself. He's working hard. Mubah. We say, that's good. But he doesn't leave for salah. He doesn't ask what's happening with his kids and his wife. All he does, leave when they're sleeping and get home when they're sleeping. He doesn't care. طيب, selling the masahif becomes haram. Selling the book of Allah becomes haram. Understand? Priorities. That's how the shaitan works at that level. Get him so much into the mubah. So that's why
Listen, there's a child locked in the car, minivan, middle, brake, dent on the right rear fender. There's a little boy locked in the car.
Mom is going outside. Hang on me.
Now anyone who has a van, inshallah, you go on. هذا دابو. Something so small, blow it up. Like he's in the car, he's dead. You have to interrupt and come into the men and scream. Grab someone and tell him to tell me. Tell him to tell someone. Coming like that, it's in the car. It's not drowning. That's da'bu. Alright. What time is it? Inshallah. Fine. Inshallah. So now Ramadan is coming. It's very important for us to get out of that. Again, remember what Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he said the person is addicted to the haram, but because he does something good here, zakah here, salah there, he thinks he's good and he will get away with it. That is the makr. So if this is our habit before Ramadan, we need to get rid of it right now. And we need to change ourselves. And we need to repent. And we need to change the attitude. It's really very important. Because if you're going to wait until Ramadan to do it, Ramadan is around the corner. Right? 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. So if you're going to wait until Ramadan to do that, if you're going to wait until Ramadan to wash your clothes, you're going to waste a lot of time waiting for those clothes to dry. And Ramadan is not a time to do that. Ramadan is a time of competition. Ramadan is a time to cash. Ramadan is a time to collect and to add more and more into your books. That is the time for Ramadan. When people are striving and raising their status with Allah and you are still so busy trying to establish a solid ground to take off from, that's sad and that is a loss. So it's very important for us to start, and we should have started a long time ago. As they said Rajab is the time to plant the seed, and Sha'ban is the time to irrigate and pour the water, give it the water. And Ramadan is the season to harvest. That's why a lot of us go into Ramadan without preparation. So they are so working hard to establish that solid ground to take off from. Have you seen a rocket or a space shuttle taking off from the ocean? They don't do that. It takes from a solid ground to be able to rise. So it takes time for us to establish that kind of rhythm and stamina. But it happens so quick. The month goes so quick that we don't get to pick the fruits. So that's why if we pick it during the month, it's bitter and sour. That's why we flip backward. Intikas takes place right after Ramadan. Right after Ramadan. You find the masajid full in Ramadan, empty the very next day, the very first day of Shawwal. When there were 5 and 6 and 7 lines in Fajr, 1.5 on the first of Shawwal. Maybe the second, because the first people come and they stay there for Salat al-Eid. Isn't this the reality? This is the reality. Because the fruits were never tasted. The sweetness of the fruits, or the fruits were never lit to ripe. But if you were to plant a way ahead, or ahead of time, you will get the fruit sweet in the month of Ramadan. And 3 weeks, maybe it's a short notice. But we need to start. And we need to repent. And we need to clear the mind. And we need to get rid of the makr that we are so addicted to. So look at your life, and I look at mine as well. And evaluate. See what's wrong in my life. That is another reason we don't do that. That's another reason we're not getting better. That's another reason we're not changing our conditions. Because Allah makes it clear. You want me to help you and change your conditions? You change your own selves. So why don't we do that? And the reason we don't do that is because we don't hold ourselves accountable. So each one needs to hold himself accountable. Ya akhi, give it one shot, one time. One time. Take 1 hour of your life and sit down with a paper and a pen and write down what do you think wrong in your life. We do that for everything else. We do that for the business when it's not doing well. We do that with the expenses of the home. We do that in our schools. Where did I go wrong to get this grade? Do it for your life, for God's sake. See what's wrong in my life. And if you come up with a clear paper that nothing wrong in it, there's a problem. There's a problem. And you need to get some consultation. I'm serious. If you think your life is perfect the way that is required by the Prophet ﷺ, then let me know so I can ask you to make dua for us. But we all have shortcomings. And we all have problems. And we take it step by step. So make this your goal. And make this, as they say, your resolution for this month. Is that I want to start the month with the minimum of haram in my life. Give it a shot. And trust Allah. And try. And see what happens. And you will not regret it. So if you're in a haram business, give it a shot. But it's difficult. It's not easy. Because the shaitan ya'idukum al-faqr. Because the shaitan promises you poverty. So he tells you if you get rid of that store, you're going to turn poor. What's wrong with you taking advice from the shaitan? Allah tells you about the shaitan, he's your enemy. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. He's your enemy, so take him as enemy. Have you seen someone taking advice from his enemy? No. And every time there is something haram in your life, and you know it's haram, and you have a hard time changing it, because the shaitan promises you poverty. So disobey him. If you are to disobey someone, disobey the shaitan. Because his goal is he sat on every single path to take you away from the straight path. When Allah described the shaitan, He says, قال فبما أغويتني لأقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم. He said, the shaitan said, and Allah says in the Quran, the shaitan says to Allah, because you misguided me, I will sit on their straight path. But look at the eloquence. Sit on the straight path. Allah did not say that exactly the way I translated. Allah said, sit their straight path. The preposition on dropped. But if I tell you, I'm going to sit the straight path, it doesn't make sense to you, does it, in English? I'm going to sit your straight path. Doesn't. Because if I say, I will sit on your straight path, I will stand on the street, using on indicates temporary standing. I will be on, and sometime later I'll be off. So it indicates changes. But the shaitan did not do that. The shaitan said, I will sit their straight path. يعني what? يعني I will become one with their straight path. يعني I will get on it, never leave. لأقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم. That's what it means. So the shaitan on every single path, trying to get you into the trap. So be aware. That's why the Messenger ﷺ said, إن الشيطان قعد لابن آدم بطرقه. That the shaitan sat for the son of Adam on every path. Son of Adam. The son of Adam can be kafir. Right? فأتاه من باب الإسلام. So he approached him from the path of Islam. He told him, أتسلم وتذر دينك ودين أبيك ودين آباء أبيك. So the shaitan comes to this son of Adam who wants to become Muslim. And maybe he was not Muslim and became Muslim. So maybe they understand this hadith better than the rest of us. So he came to him when he was about to become Muslim. That's the shaitan. And he told him, what's wrong with you? You're going to become Muslim and leave the religion of your fathers and the religion of your people and the religion of your forefathers. That's how the shaitan works. فَعَصَاهُ فَأَسْلَمَ. This son of Adam was strong enough, much conviction, he disobeyed the shaitan, became Muslim. فَأَتَاهُ مِنْ بَابِ الْهِجْرَةِ. Then he approached him. Now this person who became Muslim, now he has to make hijrah. Either the hijrah, the physical hijrah from the land of Kufr to the land of Islam, or the first hijrah from Mecca to Al-Habasha, or Mecca to Medina to be with the Prophet ﷺ, whatever, or hijrah from haram to halal. Hijrah from abandoning what displeases Allah to what pleasing Allah. He came to him from that path. يعني now the person wants to practice. He became Muslim, now he wants to practice. So the shaitan comes to him. قال أتهاجر وتترك أرضك وسماءك وإنما المهاجر كالفرس في الصوت. You make hijrah. And you leave your heavens and your earth, and you leave your sky and your earth. يعني the land you're familiar with, and the people you're familiar with, and the roof you know, and the area you know. And you know the person when he leaves his own town, he's like a lost person. Doesn't know people, doesn't know the language, doesn't know where to go. فَعَصَاهُ فَهَاجَرَ. So he disobeyed him and made hijrah. Did he stop there? Didn't. فَأَتَاهُ مِنْ بَابِ الْجِهَادِ. Now this person who becomes Muslim and practicing gotta be fine. He gonna get fouled, and he gonna be challenged, and he gonna be tested. So he has to retaliate and defend himself. So he came to him from that path. You're gonna go for jihad and get killed. فَتُقْتَلْ وَتُنْكَحُ امْرَأَةُ وَيُقَسَّمُ مَالِكُ. You're gonna go and fight so you can be killed. And what happens after that? He tells him, your wife gets married again, and your money get distributed. Taking him to the dunya. فَعَصَاهُ فَجَاهَ. Disobeyed him, made jihad. So the idea is that the shaitan will try to stop you from obeying Allah. So when you decide you leave tonight, inshallah, with the attitude that I'm gonna change my life, because Ramadan is coming, and don't be Ramadani, بل كن رباني. Don't be a person who's active only in Ramadan. Be a person active for Allah. Because if you're only active for Ramadan, it's only 30 days, if we're lucky. But if you're active for Allah, you're active the whole year around. That's what it means. Don't be Ramadani, be Rabbani. So start working on yourself and start changing and making those changes and those decisions. And ask for help and seek support. And the sweetness is awesome. And the fruit tastes very well. And a statement I made one time, and it came to my mind while I'm sitting. And I know for sure it changed one person. And only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how much I love this person since that change. But Allah knows better than all of us and than me how this person became because of that state. I said one time, I said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says on the day of judgment, Surah Al-Haqqa, وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ. And the one who will be given his book with his right hand, he will stand in front of the people, in front of mankind, in front of the jinn, in front of the malaika. هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ. This is my book. You want to read it? There is no place for riyah then. He got it, that's it. He got the book. He's so happy and felicitous, he wants to show his book. هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ. Here, read my book. Proud of what he got. So I said, and that was in Ramadan, I said, take that scenario and ask yourself, if you were in Salat al-Eid, if you were to be asked by the Imam who's giving, or people who are organized, right now, not good in Ramadan to stand up and tell the people, here is the book of my actions in Ramadan. Read. Ask yourself. But I was saying, if if you were to put in that situation, you better be doing something to say, I will stand and say. But this changed his life and changed his family. And I'm not talking about who's 15 or 18 or 20 years old. And I'm not talking about someone like anyone else. I'm talking about a PhD professor who had done and achieved in his department and something that was not done anywhere in the United States. And he was so into that. And the way you talk to him today, and the way you hear what he says, and the way you see completely. So we don't know. So ask for to give you the strength and the will to change yourself, because instead of home and right, turn your back. Allah will change you. They won't be like you. So you, على الله يعني, you over us here, I think we don't in the status of Allah. It's all for us. وَمَنْ جَاهَدَ فَإِنَّمَا يُجَاهِدُ لِنَفْسِهِ. If you struggle, you're really struggling for yourself, to benefit yourself, betterment yourself, to improve yourself. That's the bottom line. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَغَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. And Allah is in no need for all. So do it. استغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.